I've been having wrist pain and problems for maybe like 9 months or a year now. A lot of it I think was due to some poor ergonomics at work, but also I just couldn't kind of figure out the rest of it. I tried a lot of things, like the rotational exercises with the weights and the dumbbells and the broom and the pots and pans and like all that different stuff, but I could never really seem to find the sweet spot where I was like challenging my wrist but not causing it pain or not hurting it. And then I could never be sure if what I was doing was actually good or bad for it in the long term to make it healthy and strong. Until about a month ago, I got this big old bucket of rice from Walmart.com. It's like $45 or something like that to have it shipped out to the house. And I've been doing a routine pretty much every day. Sometimes I miss a day. Sometimes, like today, I get it in twice a day. I do it to break up my work at the computer, and also if I just have some downtime or I'm bored or I want to get in a little extra. But here's what I've been doing. I go through a series of different movements. My goal in each is to build up a nice burn and to challenge it, but not to look for any pain or really try to exaggerate the range of motion. First one I do is like going into the rice, my hand like that, going down into it and spreading it and extending the wrist so that I get a nice extensor work on the way out. And then I grip down hard into the rice and kind of drive it in deeper, get a little forearm work too. So this one's kind of a good warm up just to get things flowing. I roll up my sleeves here a little bit. I should probably take off my Apple Watch too. Christmas present for my brother John. In and spreading, then down and squeezing, in and spreading, down and squeezing. It's not terribly hard, so the trick is to build up a little pump, build it up so that it's challenging. So I try to keep moving quickly, not give it a lot of downtime for rest in between. The number of reps is really less important than the amount of effort. So I really try to make it maybe like a 7 or 8 out of 10 in effort. Again, not hitting any pain. If you're coming up against pain, back it off a little or adjust your approach just a bit so you can keep doing it and being challenged without feeling any real like sharp pain or anything like that. When that hand gets a little pumped, a little tired, switch to the other hand, same thing. And watch out that your rice doesn't like fall out or eventually you'll need to buy some more and fill it up. Same thing with the left hand. I'm just concentrating on not much rest in between. Good form, not trying to go as deep as I can, but the deeper you go or the more you look to find the resistance against the rice. I said riced like it's a past tense verb, but against the rice, the more resistance you can have, obviously. Just down and extend and then in and grip. And again, maybe for this one, I'll do like between 20 and 30 reps. If I'm going quickly without much rest here between the reps, that'll get a pretty decent pump going. Next motion I do is for the rotation. This one, in my opinion, might be the most important or most beneficial. Really important of all of these that you don't get any of this movement out of your shoulder. Don't let your shoulder be rotating. So either lock your arm by your side, or sometimes I like to pinch my hand against the side of the bucket with the other hand. I don't know, more like locking the arm against your side is probably the way to do it. Fist goes down into the bucket, and then just rotate back and forth. Again, not really exaggerating a big range of motion, not looking for any sharp pain, but looking for resistance so that it's hard and challenging, pushing it down in a little deeper if you need to. Back and forth. This one I might do like 20, 30, maybe 40 reps depending until I feel a good burn like I do now. Good burn there, shake off the rice, move to the other hand, fist down again. Again, locking the arm so I'm not getting any shoulder rotation and just twisting back and forth with the wrist. You may mess around with what's comfortable for you to like having this other hand on the ground, or maybe having one leg up is good too, so you can put your hand on your knee here for some support. You want to support your back in some way so that it's not taking a bunch of strain from just bending over all the time. But either if it's on your knee or a hand on the ground here, so you're sort of in an all fours or 3 out of 4 kind of position, just getting that rotation just in the wrist. Whew. Nice burn. Once that's good, we'll move on to the next motion. Next one is like this. Kind of a subtle movement. There's not a lot of range of motion. Just back and forth, building up a nice burn. I don't get a lot of movement on this one, but if you're finding the resistance in the rice, and again, you're doing maybe 30, 35, 40, whatever number of reps back and forth, you really start to feel a burn, and it's getting a little pumped on you. That's good enough. Switch to the other hand so this hand gets a rest while you go to the other side. Same thing, arm locked against the body, shoulder kind of engaged, you know, so it's not going really far back, it's not going really far forward. Keep it engaged. Find the position that's comfortable for you to do that, and just twist it down and into the rice, back and forth, relatively small movement. I mean, after just 20 reps, 25 reps, 30 reps, like, oh, like this is my second session today, so 30 reps, I'm already feeling the pump there. Don't have to push it too hard. Next motion is going to be forward and back, you know, contraction and extension. Contraction, that's the word I was looking for before. Maybe, I don't know. But this, forward and back, it's the same idea. Fist down in the bucket. Try again, locking the arm against your body so the shoulder's not producing any of the movement. Just back and forth with the wrist. Find the resistance in the rice. Build up a good burn. 25, 30 or so was enough to get me going. Other hand, I'm really thinking about just like pushing it down further into the rice. This is probably the one where I make my way deepest in the rice because it's maybe the motion that I'm strongest in. Just like the contraction is pretty easy compared to the other ones with this amount of resistance, and the extension can be relatively when you have a fist like that instead of doing the open finger version that we did before. So my hand does go a little deeper in the rice on that one than on some of the others. Next, I'll go to like a swirling motion like this with each hand. First clockwise, locking the arm so the shoulder's not moving, finding the resistance in the rice, move it around, you know, in the bucket just a little bit. If you make yourself like a pocket with no resistance there, a little crevice in the rice, it can be really easy to move around, but we're not trying to like get a certain number of reps. We're not trying to make it easy. We're looking for resistance because we want it to be challenging. Again, maybe after 30 or 40 circles, that's pretty challenging for me. Same thing on the other hand, always keeping it even. I really find this routine is the best when I work it in as a way to break up my computer work. So you could do it first thing in the morning, you could do it last thing in the day, both of which are a lot better than doing nothing. But I find the best is if I work for like 2 or 3 hours on the computer, come over and doing this routine. It only takes like 5 or 10 minutes probably. And then after another few hours of work, maybe doing it again later in the afternoon. Just a really good way to take a break and break up that repetitive motion from like typing and mouse use on the computer. Next, same thing, but instead of clockwise, we go counterclockwise. A little counterclockwise rotation. All the basics still, nice base. Don't let your back be strained. Support the weight with your other hand. Maybe support the weight with the leg up. Lock the arm against the body so the shoulder's not producing the movement. Oh yeah. Get a good burn. Move on to the other hand. I've kind of been coming to like this like all fours or 3 out of 4 position lately instead of the knee up, but your preference there. Some folks may find a totally different position that works better for them as well. And again, don't worry too much about the number of reps. I like to kind of know just for my own reference, but the more important thing is how challenging and getting a little pump there that you build up through the course of the reps. All right, next one I like to do, hand goes into the rice and then the fingers spread and then comes out, back together, in, spread, out and together, in, spread, out and together. You really want to like take a second to spread it as far as you can. You might not get it on the initial second. This one feels a little weird at first maybe. It doesn't feel like you have much movement or much range of motion, and that's okay. After again, you do like 25 or 30 reps with not taking too long between the reps to get it back in and working again, you should feel a little pump built up. I'm feeling it now after however many reps that's been. Not really sure, but that's pretty good. Same thing on the other hand, just building it up till it's challenging. I almost think about this one in like 2 steps. It's like spread it and then spread it a little more again and then up and out. Spread it, spread a little more, up and out. So I really try to exaggerate a little bit on this one since there's such small range of motion. I like to get as much out of it as I can. Okay, don't overdo it, shouldn't feel any pain. Listen to your body. Challenging, but not painful. The last one that I like to do, the last 2 I like to do depending how you want to consider it, but the object here is to keep a really stiff, straight wrist. You're not looking for it to move around, you're looking for it to stay straight, and then you are moving it around in a circle. So start clockwise, moving it around in a circle. You can see my position is a little bit different for this one. You might have to modify. I like using it to get a little bit of a hip and groin stretch out while I'm doing this one. Again, try to somewhat lock the shoulder so that it's not like hurting or bothering your shoulder. The wrist shouldn't be moving at all. The goal here is to maintain a stable wrist while you're going through these motions, because wrist stability is maybe the most important factor for like climbing and some other stuff that's wrist intensive. But this one might take like 80 or 90 or 100 circles to get a really good burn going. Same thing on the other hand, a little harder with your left hand at first to be like, feel kind of stupid trying to do the circles here, but you get better over time. Still not nearly as good with my left hand as I am with my right, but good enough where I can do it. At first I have to go a lot slower with the left and it takes a little longer then to get the pump going, but just stick with it and you will get better with the left hand as well. Last one I like to do, same thing, but in the opposite direction. So if you went counterclockwise, now we're going clockwise. Try not to be too much in the shoulder, but no movement in the wrist. Just moving that arm around, maintaining straight fingers, straight wrist, a lot of stability. You might play around with where you put your thumb. Sometimes I like it out, sometimes I like it on the side, sometimes I like it on the palm. You can play around and see what works well for you. Go to the other hand, same thing, and once you're done with that, you're done. But I've been doing this for the last few weeks or a month, and I've been feeling really good, a lot better than I was previously with doing like the weird dumbbell and broomstick and pot and pan stuff. I'm really not a big fan of that anymore. I do plan to get into some more like rolling thunder usage to strengthen my wrists, and then maybe some like false grip, muscle up type stuff too to get them even better from there. But let me know how it goes for you.